Hey YouTube, 2007 to 2011 Honda Civic. Sometimes this will work to 18 all the way down to 02 depending on what model you have. What you have to do, say you don't want to have it reprogrammed and you're like me and you bought a little $40 ignition from a used parts place. Well, no names, bought one. This is your culprit. This is the immobilizer. It reads the chip and the key. So what you'll want to do is actually pull it off if, say you have a bad ignition, wanted to swap it out and save like $400 instead of going to the dealer. You actually take this off of the one from your old car. So here's my old ignition. It's 2 small Phillips screws. It's very easy to find. If you can't, you might not need to be doing this. It's not too tricky, but a little tricky. More or less, you want to unplug it. For one, you'll want to test it. Just pull the cord out of it. Put your old key just hanging in here. Put your new key in the ignition and see if the car starts. And then the little green flashing key over here will go away. If it doesn't, it's not going to work for you, I'm sorry. But if it does, you'll pull this off, reinstall it in this one's place. It's a lot easier when you have it off. I found this out actually after I was done putting all this back on. But you'll take this off and you'll pull the chip out of your old key and you will put it in your new used key-ish. Even if you get a new ignition, more than likely you'll have to get it programmed if it has an immobilizer. So to save you, $200 or more depending on where you live, you can do this to any key. Now, and the good thing is, you'll still be able to unlock your doors and all that jazz, but I usually keep the spare on here as well, just in case. You never know if you could have an issue, because it is your factory key will work for your doors and stuff like that. So I'm going to get this swapped out, and now that I have the screws out, well, there one went in the floorboard. It's okay. We will pop this bad boy off. Bam. Now if you'll look on here, it'll actually have digits and serial numbers on here. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. Well, each of them goes to your key. I'm not going to show you my new one because then, you could have it programmed to your own car. Not like you would find this thing. I'm sure I will sell it quickly. But just to see if this does work, here is the one off my old ignition. I am going to unplug this first. Put her on, plug her in. Sorry guys, I work like 15-hour shifts, so I sound like I'm beat. It's because I am. Now here is my key. Here is my new key. Here's my key that came with this used ignition. I will swap out the chips. It's very simple. I'm going to pop these little tiny screws out. Let me see if I can find a good place to prop you up. More than likely not, but let's see. That'll work. Going to pop my screws out of each key. I actually was not taught this or anything like that, even though I wish I did. Would have saved me hours of nonsense. But, you live and you learn. Just trying to kind of more or less cheat the Honda dealers. This is what that chip will look like. Ta-da! Going to pop it out of this key. This stops you from having to have the new one reprogrammed, so it's a lot easier. You can get them at AutoZone and O'Reilly's, etc. But biggest thing is to buy things used. Who cares? They're super cheap, and you save a ton of money. As long as the ignition cylinder is nice and sturdy, you won't have an issue for, you know, 70 to 100,000 miles more. I did the ignition swaps on, you know, BMWs and Audis, but I actually work at BMW, so these things are about 20-30ish minutes to reflash. But you know, we charge customers $200 to $700 depending on what kind of vehicle, what kind of programming, what kind of keys, and how many keys you want. Here is the old key. Here is my new key. Give me just a moment. I did not expect this from Honda, to have a part like this, you know, in something like this, but I've seen stranger things. Alright, we are switched, ready to try. Before I got a green light and nothing would happen. No more green light. There you go. Have a good one, guys. If you need any comments or any help all the way down to Audis, Maseratis, BMWs, just give me a shout and I'll share what knowledge I have. See you next time.